My name's Cary Loesing. I didn't say that before. I serve as the chair of the board of directors for the Gwinnett Global Methodist Church plant. So that's a mouthful. I would say the letters, but those are harder to say than the full name. Again, I want to thank you for being here. My job is to provide that brief history and a little bit of where we're headed for tonight. And, what's really interesting is this church, this community of faith started with an informational meeting back in January. We think about that, and that seems so long ago, but it wasn't. And that meeting came about is a group of people interested in wanting to do something different. A little bit of frustration with where we were at in our existing churches. And so we had this informational meeting. Out of that meeting, we had a series of people that said they would step up to be leaders. This group of people initially met on January 30th, and we have basically been meeting Monday evenings almost every week since then in order to pull this community of faith together to go ahead and establish this church. Our next milestone, if you will, and since I'm doing highlights, was in February 23rd. We held our incorporation meeting where we became Gwinnett Global Methodist Church Plant, Inc. So in there we established our board of directors, who I just introduced. We created some of the ministry teams that we had been working together from our first meeting in January. And from that, we set up our bank account, we set up a website, we set up everything you need to operate and run a business. On March 11th, again, hitting milestones, our leadership team got together and for an envisioning session. And at this envisioning session, we created our core values, we set our mission statement, and we began working on our vision. We need to get back to finish that vision, but I'm going to share some things later that I think are coming out of that after we talk about it. So our core values are biblical instruction, evangelism, sharing the good news, worship, passionate worship like we were doing tonight, fellowship, which is so important to get to know each other, prayer, and ministry and service. Those are kind of the key things that undergird everything that we do. And then our mission statement, we exist to know Jesus, to share the gospel, and to grow believers. So that's what we are about. And that falls right in line with the mission statement and the core values of the Global Methodist Church. The Global Methodist Church's mission is to make disciples for Jesus Christ, who worship passionately, love extravagantly, and witness boldly. So we are plugged right into that. Then in March, the end of March, we launched our first worship service. We were over at the Gwinnett School of Mathematics, Science, and Technology. Many thanks to Ivy for working that out for us, because we had a situation where we were going to meet fall through. And then beginning of May, we moved to this location. And then initially we were meeting at 5:30, and in May we moved to this location and started gathering at 10:30 for worship. And then in May 17th and 18th, several members of the leadership team went to a Planting Healthy Churches seminar, and we learned many things about what we did correct and a few things that we didn't do quite right. Sitting through that seminar, it was very, very informative, but for me, it was eye-opening too. We're all lay people. We are not church planters by vocation, but we've been called to be here for this time. June 18th, we launched our updated website and our church app that runs on your iPhone or your Android phone. And then in June, we held our first Worship in the Park outreach, and we'll have another one this coming Sunday. So instead of meeting here where it's nice and cool and everything, we'll go out to the park. We'll have a little bit more heat, a few bugs, but it's so great to be out in the park. It's so great to be out in the community. And then this past Monday, last night, we agreed to go ahead and submit our application to become a full church within the Global Methodist Church, to move from a plant status to a full church status. That's a tremendous, tremendous milestone. And that kind of brings us to this evening. This is how we got where we are now. Now, where are we headed? Where are we going? And bear with me, because we've discussed all this. We haven't put time frames to everything. So this fall and into 2024 will continue to be a pivotal time for our church. Once we're approved as a full church, we'll hold our convening conference where we will become official. And we don't know exactly when that'll be, but we're thinking September, kind of targeting beginning of September or middle of September. We're not sure yet. As a church plant, we are all participants here. We're active. There's no membership in a church plant. But once you become a full church, then your membership roles start. So once we become commissioned as a full church, we will now have our founding members, and we would love for all of you to be part of our founding membership team. We'll continue to expand our leadership team. We will continue to expand our ministry teams, and we will celebrate at that time our life in Christ, that we are dedicated to celebrating Christ in everything that we do. We'll expand our Bible study and discipleship group and mission ministries. We'll grow our outreach ministries to connect with more people in our neighboring communities here. And lastly, we're in the very early stages of planning children and youth ministries. You say, well, why do we need that? We don't have any children or youth. Well, if you don't have them, they don't come. Another thing that's happening is within the Global Methodist Church structure, the area that we're in, North Georgia, is becoming or is identified as a district within the South Georgia Global Methodist Provisional Annual Conference. The South Georgia Annual Conference is holding their convening conference at the end of this month. So as of the end of this month, we will be part of a fully operational annual conference within the Global Methodist Church. That's very, very exciting. The North Georgia area here, right now we have about, how many churches? 11 right now in the North Georgia area. Now, we anticipate that from the 185 that are going through disaffiliation talks now, we will pick up some of those. It could be 50, it could be 185. We don't know. But later this year and into 2024, I really anticipate as those churches finish the disaffiliation process and they make their decision as to which direction they'll go, that we'll see our North Georgia district or North Georgia area grow tremendously. And with that, I anticipate North Georgia becoming a conference at some point. I don't know if it'd be 2024 or 2025, but at some point into the future. Lastly, we're here in prayer for a pastor. Right now, we are bringing in pastors to fill in for us on Sunday mornings. Our early services, we had lay leaders provide messages, and that was good. But we look forward to the day when we have a pastor appointed to us. And the pool of candidates continues to grow. This summer, a number of pastors have moved into the Global Methodist Church. At the South Georgia Annual Conference, there's going to be 11 that are going to be ordained as elders. And then as churches make the decision to move into the Global Methodist Church, they will come, they will bring some of their pastors with them. Probably not all of them, but some will. So we have high hopes that we will have a pastor appointed to us in the very near future. For me, the future is very bright. This is an exciting time. We're free of a bondage that I felt within the United Methodist Church. We're free of that, and that shows up in our worship time. It shows up in our interactions, that we are looking forward to the future. We're looking forward to celebrating Christ as we go on. But I'm really, really looking forward to see how we can grow Christ Church here in this community.